albeit for the West, and particularly the previous administrations in the US, who were most affected by the events in Iran, this media bias was inescapable. Otherwise, how could they admit that the regime that they had brought to power in 1953 was toppled by one which was far more democratic and progressive? I must point out, however, that there have been people of reason in the United States, individuals, religious organizations, etc., that see in the enormity of such misinformation a tremendous injustice done to a great nation. Among them, one of our panelists, Washington National Cathedral, has an ongoing initiative of dialogue with Iran, and a group from the cathedral, including, as you heard, our panelist, Mr. Anderson, the Honorable Bishop John Bryson Chain, and Reverend Canon John Peterson have traveled to Iran repeatedly and conversed with Iranian people. Iran, having no voice in this country after the severance of ties with the US, was left with very little alternative to counter this extensive media bias. So Iranians allowed history to take its course and for the events to unfold naturally. One significant example is the case of Saddam Hussein and the invasion of Iran. For 8 years, Iranians were trying to prove that they were the victims of some horrendous crime committed by Saddam, and were asking the international community to investigate Saddam's violation of international law. Yet all of their efforts and pleading fell on deaf ears. They were asking and advocating charging Saddam Hussein for these war crimes and trying him at an international tribunal. As it turned out, ultimately, the United States placed Saddam on trial and indicted him for the same crimes, but only after thousands of American soldiers lost life and limb in the process. As Africans and African Americans were once branded as violent when they were in fact victims, so has the peace-loving country of Iran been portrayed as such when in fact for the last 200 years of this nation's history, they have neither invaded, threatened to invade, nor attacked any nation. Far from being vengeful, the Iranian people have sought peace even with those who attacked and threatened their interests in recent times. If one characteristic distinguishes itself from the others when it comes to the personality of Iranians, it is the fact that they are fair-minded. Many a times the world has been surprised by Iran's stance. In the Nagorno-Karabakh region, Iran held its neutral stand vis-a-vis Azerbaijan and Armenia, and Christian Armenia is now one of Iran's closest allies. Today, Iran is a powerful country, politically, economically, and socially. Decades of undue economic sanctions allowed the Iranians to stand on their own feet, making unbelievable advances in all areas of science, from stem cell research and cloning to nanotechnology. Innovations of Iranian scientists in medicine, including spinal cord repair, as well as achievements in telecommunication, even aerospace technology, and peaceful advancement in nuclear research are all due to this nation's struggle away from subservience and towards independence and progress. The Islamic Republic of Iran does not possess nor does it seek nuclear weapons. Iran, like many developed nations of the world, has long sought clean, efficient nuclear energy as a viable alternative to perishable petroleum, an undeniable right of every NPT member. In line with the religious edict issued by the leader of the Islamic Republic, the development, production, stockpiling, and use of nuclear weapons is against our religious belief. Ironically, those who attribute such weapons of mass destruction to our country are the same nations who possess the largest stockpiles of nuclear arsenal in the world. It must be added here that Iranian quest for nuclear energy has widespread support among all Iranian factions. Iran's launching of the Hope or Omid satellite on the 30th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution has allowed this country to join the exclusive club of 8 countries in the world that are able to launch satellites into orbit. As we embrace the challenges of a new century, we realize that wisdom and knowledge are our best provisions in ensuring the safety and prosperity of the world. A wise and intelligent nation questions authority. Policies such as reinstalling the Shah, which led to a quarter of a century of hardship for the Iranian people, support for Saddam Hussein in his 8-year war with Iran, and the long-time support for Taliban and their misconstrued notions of Islam might have served the short-term interests of some American politician, but it ultimately negatively impacted America's image abroad, hurting the long-term interests of the people of the United States. Thank you.